he's just a top player. You know, I'm not going to mention him in the same sort of breath as the sort of the Brazilian Ronaldo or as Zidane. What strikes me when you see someone like that, it's almost like the superhuman in the sort of strength of their body. I said before, he's like Drago, where he just sort of picks people up and throws them to the side, or the Bond villain Jaws, that like it's almost unfair.
Yeah, it's usually fictional, but this is
fact.
It
feels unfair to have that much pace, acceleration, strength, ability, and it becomes so much more difficult for everybody else. There was a moment in the Community Shield last week where he went in that right channel and he just nudged Andy Robertson, who I couldn't speak more highly about over the last 4 years as a defender, and I thought, that's the Van Dijk and Robertson channel he's just done that in, and he got his shot away and it was saved. So there were glimpses last week, but what we've seen today is the real thing. We've seen it happen in front of our eyes, and it's a sobering thought for the rest.
We'll go on to the other games, but could it be the story of the first weekend that he started here with 2 goals, 3 points, and delivered when you'd give him a few weeks to get into his stride?
Yeah, because we were waiting for everyone's thought about the connections, the De Bruyne to Haaland connection, and we've seen it today. And we're only at the very beginning of that connection, and that's the scary thing. We see Gundogan play that pass in the first part of the game and slide it through to him. There are so many instances in that game where they've not seen his runs still. Imagine when they start to see his runs all the time. You know, I remember the striker that I always remember at United, Ruud van Nistelrooy, who was, you know, didn't have as much pace as Haaland, but he was a brilliant striker. And I remember Sir Alex used to say, there's only bloody Scholes that can see his runs, the rest of you are numpties, you know, that type of thing. And he was right, because the relative is his runs were so subtle and clever, and they were so often.
They might not have numpties, man.
No, they've got numpties, they've got a few more to be fair that can play, but he said Scholes the only bloody player that can see his runs. Yeah. And that's why Scholes, you know, and Beckham could see him from wide positions in the crosses, but at the moment, there are people on that pitch for Manchester City who've been used to playing with different types of strikers, not even strikers at times, false nines over the last 2 or 3 years, who are just getting used to having a centre forward again. You know, Sergio Aguero was very different, very different than sort of Erling Haaland. So all their brilliance in the last few years and the rhythm and the patterns of play that they've had are altered slightly by this introduction of this monster of a football player who sees things differently, who wants it a little bit earlier. You always think of Pep's teams playing that extra pass in the final third. He wants you not to play that extra pass and play it early. So there'll be that sort of what would be that transition and combination of the Pep style, but with Erling Haaland in there and sort of adapting to that we're going to see. And we saw it today, the best of it with the 2 goals, but also there were occasions whereby he didn't just quite get it through to him. People didn't see the run early enough or the pass early enough.